Chapter 1: The Flashing Dot. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Hold on. Liu Sen kept thinking silently in his heart. There is only 1 bar of electricity left on the screen of the electric vehicle, and the red light indicating lack of power is flashing continuously. At the same time, the electric vehicle is also broadcasting in a loop, low battery, please charge. His eyes were filled with helplessness. It's 9:40 p.m. now, and the last takeout order has just been delivered. Half an hour ago, Liu Sen was preparing to close the food delivery crowdsourcing app and go back to rest. The damn platform sent another takeout order to a relatively remote place. After the delivery, the electric car didn't have enough electricity left to get home. Liu Sen is a clerk in a company. I work normally during the day and work part-time at a kangaroo food delivery platform at night. I have been running for more than a month, 3 to 4 hours a day, and the average income is about 80. The electric car continued to drive for a few more minutes, and finally the car's speed was slower than walking speed. Liu Sen had no choice but to kick on the ground and let the vehicle slide forward. In the end, he could only push it forward, pushing up a slope. Liu Sen was sweating all over his body, and some gold stars began to dance in front of his eyes. This is a phenomenon that occurs when you are particularly tired. He couldn't push the car anymore, so he had to park it on the side of the road. This place is still 2 or 3 kilometers away from the dormitory. Why? Liu Sen sighed, picked up the cell phone hanging on his chest, and prepared to call his roommate for help. He doesn't like to trouble others. I was holding my cell phone and preparing to dial a number when I saw several flashing dots appear on my phone. Liu Sen didn't pay attention, thinking it was caused by fatigue and dizziness. He shook his head, trying to wake himself up, but the flashing dots in front of his eyes did not move, but stayed in a fixed place. He moved his eyes to the electric car and found that there were also some flashing dots on the electric car. Liu Sen looked at other places again. There were no flashing spots on the guardrails or green belts. When I looked back at the electric car and the mobile phone, there were some flickering dots again. He reached up and rubbed his eyes, but those flickering spots were still there. Liu Sen looked at the situation in front of him with some doubts. He was a little scared, but also a little hopeful. He was afraid that he had a mental problem and that he was sick. What I'm looking forward to is whether this will bring some different changes to him. I stretched out my right hand to touch the small dots in front of me, but there was no feeling. Liu Sen also had flashing spots on his right hand. What on earth is this? He stared at a point on his hand, and a projection screen appeared in front of him. Thumbnail length, 1.23 centimeter. The decimal point in 1.23 is flashing. Now Liu Sen was sure that this was really not an illusion. Looking at the projection in front of him, Liu Sen immediately looked around carefully. There was nothing unusual about the passing vehicles or the occasional pedestrians passing by. He immediately felt relieved. Only I could see the projection in front of him. Is this the legendary Goldfinger? But what's the use? It will definitely not just display data, otherwise the decimal point will not flash all the time. Does the flashing mean the decimal point can be operated? Can it be moved? Why isn't there a manual? He was just about to try moving the decimal point of the nail data, but suddenly stopped. This is a part of your body. If something goes wrong, it would be too tragic to kill yourself. He had to be careful when testing. He didn't want to be the first person to kill himself after having a golden finger. Liu Sen turned his attention to the electric car, focused his thoughts on the flashing dot, and a light curtain immediately appeared. DD electric car, mileage, 60.00 kilometers, remaining 0.5 kilometers, top speed, 50.00 km/h. After looking at the light screen and thinking for a while, I tried to move the remaining 0.5 decimal point of the cruising kilometers back. I saw that the decimal point jumped back and the panel became, DD electric car, mileage, 60.00 kilometers, 5 kilometers remaining, top speed, 50.00 km/h. It has really changed, but I don't know if this data change will lead to changes in reality. I looked at the dashboard of the electric car and saw that there was still 1 bar of electricity on the display, and the red light was no longer flashing. After turning the switch, the car started to run normally, and there was really power. Liu Sen decided to go back to the dormitory first and then study slowly. It's still on the road now, so it won't be good if something strange happens during the modification. Liu Sen looked at the small flashing dot in front of his eyes, thinking that this would not always exist, and it would affect his vision. Just when I thought about it, those flickering dots disappeared, as if they had never appeared. For a moment, Liu Sen was worried about gains and losses. Won't the golden finger also disappear? Then with a thought, those flickering dots appeared in the field of vision again. It seems that it appears when you want it and disappears when you don't need it. Liu Sen rode his electric bike back to the dormitory building with excitement. Because it is an old community, there are no cameras here. I once again opened the panel of the electric car with my mind, wondering if adjusting the power would eliminate the need for charging. DD electric car, mileage, 60.00 kilometers, remaining 2.1 kilometers. Top speed, 50.00 km/h. I want to move the decimal point of 2.1 back one place again, but I find that it cannot be moved. Strange, can it only be moved once? But this dot is still flashing, so it should still work. He changed his mind and moved forward one digit, and the data became 0.21 kilometers. He moved forward again, and the data became 0.021 kilometers again. He moved the decimal point forward again and found that he could not move it, but he could move it backward. After trying several times, he found a pattern. This decimal point can only move forward or backward by one digit on the original basic data. Liu Sen did not move the decimal points of other data, which would directly change the performance of the car. For example, if the speed is changed to 500 km per hour, what will this car look like? He dared not imagine it, and the cruising range is changed to 600 km, which can be the same as that of electric cars. How will this car change? For the time being, it is better to be safe. Just now, only the remaining mileage was changed, because most of the data changes are about the power, which should not cause changes in appearance. Connect the electric car to the charger, swipe the card for 2 yuan, and the charging time is 480 minutes. Liu Sen checked the charger interface again and saw that it was charging. After confirming, I went back to the dormitory with peace of mind. I forgot to charge several times before, which resulted in no power the next day, so now I am suspicious. I even ran over to confirm before going to bed when I was in the dormitory on the 5th floor. When I got to the 5th floor and opened the door, I heard the sound of League of Legends coming from my roommate's room. My roommate is a colleague from his company named Qin Song, who is more of a homebody. This 2-bedroom and 1 living room dormitory is rented by the company. The environment is pretty good. The company deducts 150 from the salary every month, and the company subsidizes 60 yuan for water and electricity every month. Qin Song has been working part-time with Liu Sen to deliver food during this period. He wanted to ask him for help when he ran out of power before. Chapter 2 Testing the Gold Finger. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Liu Sen took off the clothes from the takeaway, washed up briefly, and returned to his room, closed the door and locked it. Liu Sen sat on the chair and scanned the items in the room, and saw flashing dots. Some items had them, and some didn't. The bed didn't have them, but the quilt did, but the wardrobe didn't, but the lamp did, but the cup did, but the milk did, but the table didn't have them, but the chair did. Looking at these dots, Liu Sen thought for a long time before he realized that all the things with dots belonged to him. In order to better verify his idea, he opened the bedroom door and walked out. Walking into the kitchen, there were only 2 pots on the gas stove, and only one pot had a flashing dot, which was the one he bought. Among all the bowls, there were also some that he bought, but the ones Qin Song bought didn't have any dots. He took a few pairs of his chopsticks back to the room and locked the door again. He directly used his mind to check the flashing dot of a chopstick in his hand and opened the attribute. Ordinary chopsticks, material, ordinary bamboo, length, 22.00. Move the decimal point to the left, and the chopsticks in your hand will instantly become shorter than a needle. Only 2.2. Move the decimal point again, and the chopsticks will return to normal. Move it again, and it will instantly become a 220.0 bamboo stick. It's just that this is too thin. It would be better if the thickness or diameter can be adjusted. The moment this thought appeared, I saw that a row of attributes was added to the attribute panel. Ordinary chopsticks, material, ordinary bamboo, length, 220.0. Diameter, 3.30. Move the decimal point of the diameter again, and it becomes 33 in diameter, and the chopsticks become the size of a normal stick. At the same time, the weight has also changed. Liu Sen thinks that he should subconsciously think that this should be the case, so the weight is changing at the same time. Liu Sen feels that his golden finger is a bit against the sky, and this change is unreasonable, which can be said to be out of nothing. he was extremely excited, and if there were no colleagues next door, he would have wanted to laugh out loud. If you buy some gold, it will become bigger and heavier, and you can directly multiply it tenfold. Liu Sen didn't know whether this thing would be permanent or temporary after the change. Thinking of this, he changed the chopsticks to 2.2 long and as thin as a needle, put them on the table, and waited until tomorrow to see the situation. Although he didn't know the result yet, Liu Sen had a hunch that this change was permanent. Seeing the 1 yuan coin on the bedside table, this one also had a flashing. What would change if this was changed? Liu Sen moved the flashing dots on the coin, and the coin in his hand became a 10-cent coin, which was issued in 2003. The appearance of this coin has changed completely, and now the 10-cent coin is no longer in circulation. Liu Sen looked at the coin that became a 10-cent coin, and he was sure that it was real money. Moving the decimal point again, the money in his hand became a 10 yuan banknote, which was issued in 2019. Looking at the banknote in front of him, he sighed again that the gold finger was awesome. This direct form has changed, which should be caused by the influence of his own consciousness, because in his consciousness, 10 yuan are all banknotes, and he has never seen a 10 yuan coin. After the decimal point was restored, the money was changed back to a 1 yuan coin. He now had a golden finger, and it was too easy to make money, without having to change these small things. Liu Sen decided to think about how to make better use of this ability in the next 2 days. He went out and took a bottle of mineral water from the refrigerator. Mineral water, specifications, 1.00 L. Returned to the room and instantly enlarged the water by 10 times, 1 L water became 10 L water, and the bottle also enlarged. Looking at the 10-liter bottle in front of him, Liu Sen cursed inwardly. Pig brain, it was too big and inconvenient to drink, so it became smaller again and unscrewed the lid. He poured a little water into the cup, and there was only a bottom of the cup. Liu Sen adjusted the volume of the water in the cup to be 10 times larger and drank it. In summer, ice water is refreshing to drink, and consumption will be reduced a lot in the future, which is equivalent to a tenfold reduction. Suddenly, I thought about whether the temperature of the water could be adjusted. I saw that the water in the cup had an additional line of instructions. Mineral water, specifications, 137.00 L. Temperature, 4.2 degrees. After moving the decimal point, the temperature became 42 degrees, and it became warm water directly. Sure enough, as long as you can think of it, there is nothing that the golden finger can't do. It means that any data that can be thought of can move the decimal point. Liu Sen thought of himself, stretched out a hand, and looked at the nail data. Thumb nail length, 1.23 centimeter. Moved the flashing dot, and the attribute instantly changed to thumb nail length, 12.30 centimeter. Touched the long nail. It was not much different from the normal nail, a little curved. It was similar to what he had seen in the video before. Restored to the original state, moved the decimal point again, and found that it could not be changed to 0.23 centimeters. This was the first time he couldn't complete the operation. Move the decimal point to the right and it can be operated. I tried to move it to the left again and still couldn't complete it. It was changed to mineral water and it became 10 times smaller and turned into a mini bottle. Liu Sen understood that this should be a form of self-protection. The normal distance between the nail and the flesh is just over 1 centimeter. If it is shorter, the nail and the flesh will separate, which will cause damage to the body. No matter how much the decimal point of other objects is moved, it will not have an adverse effect on his body. The nail lengthening did not hurt Liu Sen and he could operate it. In this case, there is no need to worry about changes to the body. Changes that can harm the body will not succeed. Instantly, a lot of ideas popped up in Liu Sen's mind, and he couldn't help laughing. Can it be longer and bigger? As if he saw a group of people kneeling and calling him Dad, he immediately walked into the bathroom, locked the door, and looked in the mirror. Looking at the handsome appearance in the mirror, his heart was hot, because he saw flashing points on his body in the mirror. With a thought, Liu Sen saw his physical attributes. Liu Senator age, 29.00 years old, height, 177.00. Weight, 65.00 kg, deposit, 23,333.0 yuan. These decimal points can be moved, but some are not suitable for change. Changing the age to 2.9 years old. I don't want to grow up again from a small child, and he is not sure whether this change will make me smaller or reborn 26 years ago. Don't change this for the time being. Thinking of this, I picked up the facial cleanser on the washstand, which showed 62 days of factory production, and changed it directly to 6.2 days. The amount of facial cleanser has not changed, but the outer packaging has become newer, and the shelf life has changed from the production date of June 2, 2021 to July 27, 2021. It seems that it is indeed a change in the present time, and it will not travel through time. Age does not need to be changed for the time being. This can be changed after dozens or hundreds of years. Is this a disguised way to gain immortality? Height and weight cannot be changed. Will you still be a normal person after changing it? Deposits cannot be modified either. After all, your deposits are all in banks and Taobao. If this is changed, will the national financial system be in trouble? Liu Sen knew that there was no big problem with his money being less, but the money data in the system was all connected to the internet. If he changed it, it would be all messed up, and the bank and Taobao suddenly lost a dime, and the background data did not match and had to be checked desperately. Although Liu Sen felt that his golden finger should be a direct modification of reality, the bank and Taobao should not be noticed after the change. The most important thing is that there are many ways to legally earn countless money using the golden finger. Chapter 3: Changes in Self. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Liu Sen called up his attribute interface, thinking about the physical attributes he expected to see, and instantly the attribute interface added a new line of attributes again: physical, 8.2. It's really okay, the guess is correct. With excitement, Liu Sen moved the decimal point of the physical constitution, and it really couldn't be adjusted to 0.82, Liu Sen directly adjusted it to 82. At the moment of completing the adjustment, he felt a huge warm current pouring into his body, and felt that his body was soaking in a hot spring. The skin, flesh, bones, and marrow of the body were all transforming, and it was obvious that the physical fitness was getting stronger. Endless strength surged in the body, clenched his fists, and Liu Sen felt that he could destroy the world with a pair of fists. What he saw in front of him became extremely clear, and the whole world became more vivid. In the bathroom, before Liu Sen changed his physical constitution, he could only vaguely hear the sound of League of Legends in his roommate's room. Now it is unusually clear. At this time, a small, dull, and long sound came from downstairs. Damn. This sound must be the sound of farting downstairs. Although there was a floor between them, Liu Sen subconsciously stretched out his hand and fanned the air in front of his nose. It might be because of Liu Sen's fanning that he heard a buzzing sound from the side. He turned his head to look in the direction of the sound and clearly saw a mosquito flying in the corner of the bathroom. The flying posture of the mosquito was clearly visible. When he saw the mosquito, he raised his hand directly and flicked it at the mosquito with the gesture of flicking his fingers. He saw his hand quickly raised, bent his middle finger, and flicked it over. In Liu Sen's eyes, the mosquito seemed to be fixed, and the flicked middle finger slowly approached until it touched the mosquito. The moment the finger touched the mosquito, it began to be squeezed, its body ruptured and died, blood flowed out, one leg broke directly and fell to the ground, the rest of the body was directly flicked onto the glass, making a slight sound, and the body was directly broken into pieces. Then time seemed to return to normal. Fuck, Liu Sen cursed in Chinese, because he saw cracks on the glass that the mosquito had just hit. It seems that I have to be more careful in the future. The sounds coming from the surroundings from time to time feel a bit noisy. He didn't want to keep listening to these sounds, and as soon as the thought came out, these sounds disappeared. Liu Sen wondered if it was an illusion just now, and listened again, and those sounds appeared again. Fortunately, he could subconsciously control his hearing, otherwise he couldn't live through the scene just now. Liu Sen knew that this physical improvement was not a single one, but a comprehensive improvement, and it was not like those people who suddenly improved in novels, and there was no uncontrollable situation. Feeling the infinite power in his body, Liu Sen took off his clothes. His originally thin body had become full of muscles. It was not like the muscles of those bodybuilders, but a very natural streamlined shape that made people sigh at the art of the human body. Turn on the shower, rinse the body, look at the slightly long hair, and directly modify the length of the hair to become slightly longer than the flat head. After taking a shower, Liu Sen looked at the perfect body in the mirror, plus a face that was much tougher than before, and looked more energetic. Knocked on the door of his roommate and called out, "Chin Song, it's late, go to bed early." "Okay, brother Sen, I'll play for a while." Back in the room, I won't test the golden finger for now, I can slowly discover it in the future. I lay on the bed with excitement, thinking about all kinds of things in my mind, and I don't know when I fell asleep. On the path in Huashan Park, a figure was running fast. It should be the improvement of physical fitness that made Liu Sen wake up after sleeping for more than 5 hours, and he was very energetic. As soon as he woke up, he checked the chopsticks, which were still like fine needles. Without any change, after going downstairs, Liu Sen tested what he thought last night, moved the decimal point of the electric car, and the panel changed. DD electric car, cruise mileage, 600.00 kilometers, 600 kilometers remaining, maximum speed, 50.00 kilometers/hour, there is no change in the appearance. It seems that I can buy a lot of instruments to improve the accuracy in the future. A big part of social progress is the progress of materials, and many materials can be modified in the future. I can't take this road for the time being. This road is too difficult. The giants are all eyeing this aspect. I need to accumulate strength. He restored the mileage of the electric car to 60k again. After confirming this, the energetic Liu Sen ran for an hour in the community in the morning. He didn't even sweat, so he went directly to the nearby Huashan Park and started to accelerate. The speed has been increasing. When it has reached the race speed, Liu Sen did not increase the speed, fearing that he would arouse the suspicion of others. He slowed down and started to walk slowly after running at this speed for 5 or 6 minutes. After this fast run, it shows that the tenfold physical improvement is really not covered. Now let Liu Sen participate in the competition. He can easily win a bunch of world championships. Unfortunately, this is not his goal. That would only be a personal breakthrough. The golden finger used in other places will drive the improvement of the entire country and the people. Lying in bed last night, Liu Sen thought about starting a company, doing a physical enterprise, and manufacturing in the future. Now he just needs to accumulate entrepreneurial funds. His deposit of more than 20,000 is too little. Even if I use the cheat code, it will only become more than 200,000, which is still a drop in the bucket and cannot withstand the toss of the manufacturing industry. When I returned to the dormitory, I bought spicy soup and scallion pancakes, and put breakfast on the table in the living room. As soon as I entered the door, after taking a shower and washing up, I looked at the time. It was about 8 o'clock. Liu Sen went directly to the door of Qin Song's bedroom and knocked on the door. Qin Song, get up. Oh, okay, I'm up. After hearing the response, Liu Sen came to the dining table and ate the breakfast he had just bought. I found that my appetite had increased a lot, and the breakfast I bought according to my usual needs was not enough. With a thought, the properties of the scallion pancake appeared, and the scallion pancake was directly enlarged 10 times. Looking at the scallion pancake that had increased, I nodded with satisfaction, took a bite, and enjoyed the crispy outside and tender inside with the fragrance of the scallion. Well, I can spend little money to do big things in the future. Chapter 4 Resignation. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Hurry up, I brought you breakfast. Well, thank you, brother senior. I will resign today, and you will be living alone in 2 days. As he spoke, Liu Sen drank the last bit of spicy soup in his hand. Brother Sen, why did you resign suddenly? Qin Song, who was still brushing his teeth and with his mouth full of foam, turned and said to Liu Senior. Well, I want to go back. It's okay to hang around outside all the time. I can go back and have my own way. Besides, the old man at home is older, so it will be easier to look after when I go back. Yes, house prices are so high now, easily costing 20,000 to 30,000 yuan. It is impossible to settle down here. I estimate that I will go back to get married and have children soon. Liu Sen did not comment on this. He silently returned to his room and started packing his things. At 8:30, the two went downstairs and rode their electric bikes to the company. In a few minutes, we arrived at the back door of the company. Park and swipe your card, enter directly through the back door, take the elevator to the office on the 2nd floor. Brother Sen, morning. Many people in the office greeted Liu Senior. Morning. Liu Sen nodded in response. As soon as I sat down, I received several new messages. Liu Sen took a look and saw that it was the message from the group on the first day. There are 4 people in the group, all from the company's logistics support department. Lu Ing, Brother Sen, the content of this meeting has been prepared. the participants have been determined, and the hotel has been booked, with a total of 32 rooms. The content and budget of the meeting have been sent to you. Dan, Brother Sen, last week's reimbursement has been sorted out. I went to the finance department to check the accounts. The money promised by Section Chief Zhou yesterday has been entered into the account. This week, I need to cooperate with Lao Zhu to safeguard customers. Lulu, Brother Sen, the restaurant for this reception has been selected. It is definitely unique, and the route of the tour has also been selected. Okay, I understand, I'll take a look at it later. Liu Sen replied in the group. These 3 people were all his trained subordinates. They thought that they would resign today, so they sent another message in the group. I'm leaving my job. I'll treat you all to dinner tonight. Just as the message was sent, the 3 women called him in unison. Brother Senior. Liu Sen raised his head and saw the 3 people sitting next to him looking at him, wanting to ask. Liu Sen waved his hand towards the 3 of them, indicating that they would talk about it during dinner in the evening. The 3 of them hesitated to speak, but after seeing the look in Liu Sen's eyes, they finally lowered their heads and started working. Liu Sen turned on his work computer, opened the email, and wrote a resignation email, but it was only saved in the draft box and was not sent. I started to pack up some of the remaining work, looked at the documents just reported to the group, made sure there were no problems, signed them, and handed them back. Then I sorted out other things to be done, listed them in a table and printed them out. I saw my immediate boss entering the office. He immediately took the printed document and walked to the manager's office. Morning, Mr. Deng. Liu Sen knocked on the office door. Liu Sen, stop standing there, come in and sit down quickly. He said and pointed to the chair opposite the desk. Mr. Deng, whose full name is Deng Yaluan, has strong management skills and a tough personality, a typical tiger type. She has a very good relationship with Liu Sen, and they often drink, sing and bathe together in private. Tell me what's going on. If you have nothing to do, don't come to this office. Deng Yaluan said with a smile and cursed. Hey, this is really important. I plan to resign today. Liu Sen replied with a smile. Someone has poached you. What's the price? No, I just want to go back to my hometown and be closer to my parents. You also know that I am not young anymore, and my family has been urging me to get married. Hey, it's good to go back. I also want to go back to my hometown, but I'm unwilling to do so, so I can only stay here. Deng Yaluan is from Jinling, and Liu Sen and he both worked in the head office at the beginning. Their head office is a company in Jinling that makes medical devices and reagents, and has branches in many other cities. Because both of them had relatively straightforward personalities, they offended their leaders and were transferred to Longqing Company together. It's okay, I'll go back and make my own way. Liu Sen is very confident and will definitely succeed. Seeing Liu Sen's expression, I knew that he couldn't persuade him and could only bless him. If you need any help, just tell me and I'll fly over to help you. Absolutely, brother will definitely come to you if necessary. Liu Sen knew very well that Deng Yaluan was very capable. Come on. Deng Yaluan said. Okay, then I will submit the resignation report in a moment, and I will also list some remaining tasks. I can complete some of them today, and you will have to arrange the rest for other people. Liu Sen said, pushing the document in his hand in front of Deng Yaluan. After Deng Yaluan looked at some of the items listed in the document, he said, okay, no problem. The rest are just small things. The team you brought out will definitely be able to complete it. Okay, I'm going out. Let's have lunch together. Liu Sen said as he walked outside and waved. Liu Sen sent the resignation report to Deng Yaluan and asked him to handle the subsequent resignation matters. Liu Sen began to complete the work that he needed to do today, entered the company's internal management system to print 2 orders for customer needs, and then went to the administration department to get the key to the company's minivan. Qin Song, follow me. I have 2 clients today who need to deliver reagents. Liu Sen and Qin Song came to the purchasing warehouse on the first floor together, put on their coats and entered the cold storage and received the reagents according to the outbound order, put it in a refrigerated transport box that has been refrigerated in advance, put in an electronic thermometer, and seal it. The two transported it to a small truck. They went directly to the first customer, the First People's Hospital, and drove directly to the back door of Building 1 after entering the gate. As soon as the car stopped, a uniformed security guard came over. "Hello, you can't park here. If you park, please turn right and go to the underground parking garage." "Master, we are delivering reagents to the laboratory department and will come down in a while." Liu Sen greeted the security guard while unloading the goods with Qin Song. "Hurry up, otherwise if it takes too long, the leader will say it." The security guard looked around to confirm that there was no leader around and said, "Okay, thank you, Master." Chapter 5 Sign and Leave. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liu Sen and Qin Song pushed the reagents and walked towards the elevator. I came to the laboratory department on the 3rd floor and found Deputy Director Tan. "Director Tan, this batch of reagents has arrived." "Okay." Deputy Director Tan nodded and shouted to a doctor who was working on the side, "Xiao Song, come and sign for the things." Qin Song and Dr. Song went to handle the handover. "Director, I am resigning today, and I will not come here in the future." In the office, Liu Sen chatted with Director Tan. "What's wrong? Are you going to go somewhere high?" Director Tan was surprised. As far as he knew, Liu Sen was doing a pretty good job. "Director, I resigned and went back to my hometown to prepare something of my own. It's great to start a business, it's free. I'm chained to the hospital every day now, it's uncomfortable." "Director, you really know how to joke. You are what countless people want." At this time, Qin Song walked into the office. "Brother Sen, the handover has been completed and the temperature data has been submitted." As he spoke, he waved the receipt in his hand. Liu Sen stood up, said goodbye to the director, and left the laboratory department. Looking at the instruments in the laboratory, I wondered if these instruments would become very powerful if they were modified. When you have money in the future, you must buy one and give it a try. If it can be modified, it will definitely be a huge earthquake to the current medical market. This is definitely a big change. Medical equipment has always been monopolized by the West, and most of the equipment is purchased from Western countries. This industry has a market worth more than 1 trillion yuan. The profit margin of one laboratory department in the hospital reaches about 89%, making it one of the most profitable departments in the hospital. The other one is the radiology department. However, the income of staff in the laboratory department is at the bottom of the hospital. This is simply unbelievable in the eyes of people who do not understand this industry. They fiddle with all kinds of expensive instruments, but they get the minimum salary. If he makes a breakthrough in these instruments, the benefits will be staggering. Unfortunately, the medical industry has high barriers to entry and is not something he can enter now. Competition is also very fierce. Many medical device companies provide machines directly to hospitals for free, as long as the hospitals use their reagents and supporting consumables. Even after the equipment was given, special personnel were arranged to be stationed in the hospital to operate the equipment and help the hospital, and the equipment company paid the salary, of course. There are also large hospitals that directly purchase an instrument for hundreds or even tens of millions. After leaving the hospital, Liu Sen said silently in his heart, "I will come back and I will bring my products." It's really not possible now. If you don't have connections, you can't get in. Those who can easily open a company, obtain qualifications, and go to the hospital are all opened by relatives of a retired leader. Qin Song, let's go to the next customer. Before 11 o'clock, Liu Sen and the others rushed back to the company. Let's go to Shaxian Hotel. Liu Sen walked to the door of manager Deng Yaluan's office, knocked on the office door, turned around and walked directly to the elevator. At this time, Deng Yaluan followed and walked into the elevator together. Boss, 2 duck leg rice, plus 2 duck heads. After Liu Sen finished speaking, he took 2 bottles of iced Pepsi from the freezer on the side. Liu Sen and Deng Yaluan found a seat and started chatting. After signing in the afternoon, I will go back and have a dinner at the old place in the evening, in the largest box. Liu Sen took a sip of Coke as he spoke. Okay, let's finally say goodbye to everyone. Deng Yaluan continued, when you go back this time, have you already found your next home? No, I won't work for others when I go back this time, and I will never work for others in this life. If you do it yourself, you should still do this business. The amount of capital is too large. Unless you have strong connections as an agent, you won't be able to do what others do. Deng Yaluan said in a serious tone. I am planning to work in other industries. I will first learn some knowledge and accumulate it before talking. After the meal, the two returned to the company. In Manager Deng Yaluan's office, the two closed the door and started playing a game of valor and glory in double queue. Asen, come and help me, the person opposite is squatting on me again. Come on, watch me kill everyone. Liu Sen responded immediately. Soon Liu Sen got 3 kills and won the game quickly. Then the next game started. Liu Sen's jungler won again after a while. Liu Sen, why are you so fierce today? You used to be very good, but you are not as evil as you are today. The whole place is killing people, either killing people or on the way to kill people. Deng Yaluan looked surprised. Haha, normal operation. With a smile on Liu Sen's face, he found that his consciousness had improved a lot, and his reaction speed had improved even more horribly, and he could predict the opponent's actions. These are all caused by his improved physique. I believe there are more surprises waiting. After a few more games, he was a VP in every game, and he was so good at killing people. You had the most fun today. Did you take stimulants? You are so horny. Deng Yaluan said with a smile on his face. Maybe he decided to leave his job. He feels clear and performs exceptionally well. Liu Sen picked up the Coke and took a sip. He found that the temperature had risen a lot and it was no longer so cold. Okay, it's time to go to work. I won't disturb your work. I'm going out. Liu Sen stood up and walked out. I've already said hello to you about your resignation. Just go and sign the process in the afternoon. When Liu Sen was about to leave the door, Deng Yaluan's voice came. Okay. After leaving the door, seeing that no one was paying attention to this side, Liu Sen quietly used the gold finger to adjust the temperature of the Coke from 21 degrees to 2.1 degrees, drank a big sip of Coke, refreshing. It's refreshing to have a gold finger. In the afternoon, Liu Sen first went to the Human Resources Department to get the resignation list, then went to various departments to find people to sign, and finally returned to Deng Yaluan's office to sign. I have completed this process. I will go back to pack up. See you in the evening. Walked out of Deng Yaluan's office and gave the resignation list and work card to the Human Resources Department. Liu Sen cleaned up his workstation, sent a message to his colleagues about the evening dinner, and then said hello to Lu Ying and others. Leaving the office, he rode his electric donkey back to the dormitory. Chapter 6, Resignation Dinner. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Afternoon. Liu Sen was packing up in the dormitory when he received a text message from the bank. This month's salary and a severance pay, a total of 95,746. Liu Sen was quite surprised. People who voluntarily resign usually do not receive severance pay. What's going on here? He picked up the phone and called Xiao Qi from the company's HR department. Xiao Qi, I just received a text message from the bank. There is a note about severance pay. What's going on? Is the amount wrong? Wait a minute. Xiao Qi tilted his head and clamped the phone to check Liu Sen's resignation file. He quickly reported a string of numbers and confirmed with Liu Sr. There is no problem with the amount of money. This is the data given by Manager Deng in finance. If you have any questions, you can contact your manager Deng. Liu Sen knew that this must have been fought for by Deng Yaluan. Deng Yaluan had no say in this severance pay. This must be reported to the head office and finance for approval. I don't know how much effort he put in. You know, Deng Yaluan and some leaders of Jinling Company have some conflicts. Liu Sen immediately called Deng Yaluan. Aaron, did you get this severance pay? Yes, you deserve it. The company owes you, they know it, otherwise they wouldn't approve it if I asked them. After listening to it, Liu Sen thought a lot in an instant, and finally said, thank you. Why are you talking so much nonsense, nagging? Just drink a few more glasses of wine with me tonight. I still have work to deal with, I'll hang up first. Listening to the beeping sound coming from the microphone, Liu Sen felt a little complicated. This is a brother. I will take you to success in the future. Although the monthly salary is okay, there is not much left after paying the mortgage and expenses. This time, there is a total of about 120,000 yuan in compensation, which makes it easier to do things. After all the things were dealt with, he looked at the chopsticks that he had modified last night. Well, it's still about the same as a toothpick, and there is no change. Put this chopstick that has been reduced by 10 times in the backpack, and he will take it with him for observation for a while, and it can also be used for self-defense when necessary. After all, it can be restored and then enlarged 10 times, directly turning into a stick of more than 3 meters. Although his body is strong, who would give up the tools? He picked up the gold ring and trophy of the company's 19th best honorary employee, which were placed aside. This was what Liu Sen won 2 years ago. Among tens of thousands of employees nationwide, one of the best honorary employees was selected. He thought that after winning the award, his career would develop, but he was transferred to launching the following year. Liu Sen no longer thought about it. What has passed is what has passed. Gold ring, wait, 9.5G. It seems that the company did not make a false mark. It is really 9.5G, representing the supreme honor of the 9.5. Liu Sen moved the decimal point and changed it to 95 grams, he shook it in his hand, and the ring became thicker and wider, almost like a ring. This is all money, 360 yuan per G. This is more than 30,000 yuan. It is too easy to make money with a gold finger, but it is not very safe. He can buy a lot of gold, magnify it 10 times, and then sell it, so the profit is at least 8 or 9 times. Buy more gold and sell it again. It's so easy to keep going in this cycle, but how to deal with so much gold? Should I sell it to gold shops or pawn shops like the protagonists in those novels? Are you kidding me? It's okay to buy less, and I won't be suspicious if I buy more. Won't he be traced? It's not more than 10 years ago, when you could still do it. Now it's the information age. Big data can make everything about you clear. Haven't you seen that those big anchors have been exposed? Tax evasion and tax evasion, fined hundreds of millions to billions. There is still a team to deal with these, but they have not been exposed. It depends on whether the people above will investigate you. Your secret selling point may be okay, but if you sell a large amount, you will probably be caught every minute. Could it be that it was left by your ancestors? Don't be kidding. Liu Sen's family is absolutely of good origin, and 3 or 5 generations have been middle and lower poor peasants. Moreover, even if he secretly sells some, when he becomes rich in the future, when people check his background, they will find such a suspicious point and it will be infinitely magnified. After all, his future career will definitely offend many people, and many industries he enters are subversive. This will definitely attract a group of people to attack, so this situation must be considered in advance and prevented. Liu Sen set himself the route that it is better to go slowly and have a more solid foundation than to develop too quickly and become a castle in the air that will fall down at the first push. Therefore, he modified his physique first, so that he could protect himself. First, the unexpected income from accumulating funds must be reasonable. Liu Sen saw that the time was almost up, so he went out and went to a nearby tobacco and alcohol shop to spend more than 1,700 yuan to buy 2 boxes of 12 bottles of liquor, and then took a taxi to Longqing Banquet, arrived at the reserved box, called the waiter. You can serve the dishes. Send another box of coconut juice and orange juice over. After waiting for a while, colleagues entered the box one after another, and this time there were more than 20 people in total. Liu Sen looked at everyone and clapped his hands. There are 2 tables in total, one for those who can drink, and one for those who can't drink or don't drink. Everyone sat down quickly and poured the wine into the wine dispenser in front of each person. Seeing that everything was ready, Liu Sen picked up the wine dispenser, poured a full glass of wine, and stood up. This is a toast to everyone. Thank you for your cooperation with my work in the past 2 years. Of course, thank you for your tolerance of my shortcomings in my work. After saying that, Liu Sen raised his glass. At this time, everyone stood up and raised their glasses. Cheers! 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 After this glass, everyone's emotions were mobilized and they began to clink glasses. Liu Sen frowned as soon as he took a sip of the wine. He didn't like drinking very much, and his alcohol tolerance was not very good. Due to frequent social events, he often drank too much and woke up in the middle of the night to vomit on the toilet. He drank so much wine, but he didn't taste the taste of good wine that others talked about. He looked up and saw a circle of men looking at him with eyes that all revealed danger, and the people at another table, led by Qin Song, were already holding wine glasses and holding wine dispensers and walking towards him. Liu Sen saw this posture and knew that they were all coming for him. However, his physique was 10 times stronger, and the wine tasted bad, but his alcohol tolerance should have increased a lot. At this moment, he suddenly thought of what this wine would become if it was modified. Chapter 7 New Discovery. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liquor, weight, 8 cents, degree, 42 degrees. It will be seen when this quantity is changed. It seems that the degree can be changed. I thought that I would change the degree to 4.2 degrees, this degree is similar to that of beer. Regardless of whether it tastes good or not, the quantity can be doubled directly by 10 times. At this time, Qin Song had already stretched out his wine glass in front of Liu Sr. Brother Sen, thank you for taking care of you, I respect you. After saying that, he drank it in one gulp. Liu Sen raised his glass and drank it. As soon as the wine entered his mouth, he felt a refreshing fragrance. The wine was very soft and silky, with a little warmth entering his stomach from the throat, and his stomach began to warm up. At this time, the brain also begins to feel warm. This is warm, not hot, and very peaceful. Liu Sen's eyes lit up. The alcohol content was not high, but the taste was definitely improved by more than 10 times. Liu Sen felt that he would definitely drink this kind of wine every day, and I believe that women will also be willing to drink this wine. If he could produce this kind of wine, it would definitely have good sales. After all, people like him who hate wine like to drink this kind of adjusted wine. He didn't know how to brew the adjusted wine. Just as he was thinking about this problem, a sudden burst of information came into his mind. After Liu Sen thought about it carefully, he discovered that it was the brewing method of this wine. Liu Sen suddenly felt like he had found a treasure. This golden finger also has this function. Can all modified items have such knowledge and information? If so, many of the previous ideas will be easier to complete. He thought about the battery capacity he had changed in the morning. Could this also help him understand the principles and manufacturing methods? As soon as he thought of these, a flood of information flooded into his mind. It turned out that his goal was to accumulate some funds, modify some materials or items, and then recruit a large number of people to conduct reverse research, but it is very difficult to do so. The country has developed bit by bit in this way from the beginning. Those research workers, under the leadership of the leaders, have boosted the country's comprehensive national strength when they were really poor. Reverse research is boring, and you are faced with no clue and no research direction, which will lead to very slow development and require a lot of investment in continuous trial and error. Now it seems that his road will be much easier. Liu Sen smiled. After dealing with the people who came to toast, Liu Sen raised the wine divider and said directly to Deng Yaluan, who was sitting next to him, Aaron, respect you, I caused you trouble today. Ah Sen, needless to say, you deserve this. It was because of me that you offended the group leaders and were transferred to Longqing with me. Speaking of which, I should be the one thanking you. It's you who have always been stand up for me. Deng Yaluan looked sincere. After saying that, he also picked up the wine dispenser, touched it with Liu Sen, and drank it in one gulp. Liu Sen didn't say much and drank it all in one gulp. This wine is really fragrant, very easy to drink, and can be drunk as a drink. This change must not only be about the alcohol content, but also other changes. While savoring and thinking, Liu Sen heard a girl's voice. Brother Sen, let's toast you together. The three girls raised their glasses together, all looking at Liu Sr. The three girls looked pretty and charming, each with their own characteristics. Liu Sen couldn't help but recall that in the past, the three girls were all relatively young and had just graduated. He was attracted by himself in the talent market and recruited his subordinates. He took them to learn training management and internal control management. He also did scheduling work. He went to deliver reagents to 2 customers before, but it was because an employee had something to do at home that he suddenly took a break, so he went to help deliver them. Each of the three girls has their own characteristics. The leader is Lu Ying, who is 16 centimeters tall, has shoulder-length hair, has a beautiful face, and is youthful and beautiful. The one on the side is named Yin Dan, with short hair and a clear face, cold and unsmiling. The last one with some baby fat is named Lu Lu. She has a lowly face, only 155 centimeters, and is very lively. The three of them are very serious and hard-working in their work, which makes Liu Sen very worry-free in his daily work. This also makes Liu Sen feel that he is good at recognizing people, because all three of them were recruited into the company through interviews by him. They were all brought out one by Liu Sen, who can be said to be their teacher. Looking at the young and beautiful three people in front of them, each holding a wine glass, he calmed down, looked carefully, and said, "Why are you drinking liquor? Don't you usually not drink?" Lu Ying said, "Usually, this time, mainly because Brother Sen has resigned, and there will not be many opportunities to drink to you in the future." Lu Lu continued, "Our work is thanks to Brother Sen's care. We are all grateful." Yin Dan said, "We drink to show our sincerity. We don't drink with other people." "Are you sure you want to drink?" The three women nodded immediately, with serious expressions on their faces. Liu Sen thought for a while and suddenly thought of the wine he had modified. He didn't know if they would like it. He guessed that the three girls would like it, at least the alcohol content was low and the taste was soft, and now he could give them a taste and know what others thought. "Okay, but it's not about drinking this wine. You guys wait." Liu Sen said hello to the others and left the hotel temporarily. When he arrived at a supermarket at the door, he bought 2 more bottles of the same brand of wine he bought today and changed the alcohol content to 4.2 degrees. He also threw away the outer packaging, unscrewed the lids, carried 2 bottles of wine to the box, and placed the wine on the table. Seeing that everyone was looking at him, Liu Sen said, "I brewed this wine myself. It's a low-alcohol wine. I brought it here 2 days ago but never drank it. I brought it here today and put it on the counter. I was going to drink it when everyone went to sing after dinner. Now the girls insisted on drinking white wine, so I brought this up for them to try." As he said that, he poured the white wine in the girls' glasses into his own wine dispenser, poured new wine into their glasses, and poured a glass into his own glass. "Try this. If you like it, I'll pour you some more. If you don't like it, you can drink juice instead." Hearing this, the 3 girls all picked up their glasses and smelled it. The fragrance was so fragrant that it was much better than before. They didn't have any resistance to the wine in the glass, and they couldn't help but show a sense of eagerness to try it. The 3 girls looked at each other, and after a little surprise, they all turned to Liu Sen and raised their glasses. "Brother Sen, thank you." Liu Sen clinked glasses with the 3 girls, drank it all, and watched them drink. They took a sip first, then drank it all up, very decisively, then they closed their eyes slightly, showing an expression of enjoyment, then opened their eyes in surprise and looked at Liu Sen, then looked at each other, exchanged glances, and confirmed that they all enjoyed the aroma of this wine, and the taste was gentle and smooth. "Brother Sen, this wine is delicious, I want more." Lu Lu asked Liu Sen directly, staring at Liu Sen with blinking eyes, as if she would cry to him if Liu Sen didn't agree. Lu Ying and Yin Dan also looked at Liu Sen, their expressions full of desire. Chapter 8 Goal Setting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Is this wine so delicious? This expression shows it. This has never happened before. Occasionally Liu Sen ordered milk tea for them, but they didn't have such expressions while drinking it. He knew that they loved milk tea very much, and they often ordered milk tea and would order an extra cup for Liu Sen every time. "It tastes really good. This is wine. It tastes good." The 3 women nodded wildly. Liu Sen had no choice but to fill their wine dispensers with special wine. The wine dispensers were all empty before. None of the 3 women poured wine. They all poured wine into the glasses to toast Liu Sr. The 3 women couldn't wait to pick up the wine dispenser and add wine to their own wine glasses. Looking at them carefully, they were afraid that some wine would accidentally drip out. Liu Sen couldn't help but smile when he saw them like this. At this time, Deng Yaluan couldn't help but become curious. He finished the wine in the small wine glass and said to Liu Sen, "Try it for me too." Is it so exaggerated? That he quickly poured the special wine into Deng Yaluan, and Deng Yaluan drank it all in one gulp. Good wine. Brother, if you didn't bring out the good wine earlier, you are a guy who values sex over friends. If there is any, why don't I go to the KTV to drink? Liu Sen immediately retorted, he didn't want to be labeled as a person who values sex over friends. Then why do they want to drink? You brought it to them right away. Aren't you heartbroken? Deng Yaluan knew his brother Liu Sen's character, so he just took the opportunity to joke, and he knew that Liu Sen had feelings for several women. Be careful, this time I take the opportunity to nudge the three girls. If you want to say that, that's fine. I've been drinking more than I care about sex today, so this wine is really just for them. Liu Sen didn't defend himself at this time. The three women at the table all turned slightly red when they heard this, and they didn't know if they had been drinking. No, please pour me some more. Deng Yaluan immediately snatched the specialty wine from Liu Sen's hand and filled it for himself. This time, Deng Yaluan did not drink it all in one gulp, but slowly began to taste it, his face full of intoxication. He kept making tut-tisk sounds and quickly finished the glass, wanting to refill it. Liu Sen interrupted directly, this wine is low-alcohol wine, that's all in total. It's mainly for the girls, and you're competing with them to drink it. Okay. Deng Yaluan looked embarrassed. The three girls looked happy after hearing this, because there was no need for a big wine barrel to compete with them for the wine Liu Sen had prepared for them. They knew deeply that Deng Yaluan was really good at drinking. They had not seen him drink too much in the past few years. In fact, Liu Sen was not reluctant to give Deng Yaluan a special drink, but he did not expect it at first and was not prepared, and he said that there were 2 bottles, and more could not appear later, otherwise there would be no way to explain it. Deng Yaluan added a glass of normal wine to himself, and after clinking glasses with Liu Sen and drinking, he suddenly showed a strange look on his face. The liquor that seemed good when I drank it a moment ago no longer tasted good in an instant. Looking at the wine in the wine dispenser, Deng Yaluan felt dizzy. It's really easy to go from frugality to luxury, but hard to go from luxury to frugality. Deng Yaluan said with emotion. Okay, I'll go home and see if I can get a few more bottles and send them to you, okay? Hearing this, Deng Yaluan instantly became happy. He drank another drink with Liu Sen and said, brothers are still nice to me, but your wine is really good. Those liquids and other fluids are incomparable to your wine. It's not at all. First class. If you sell this wine, it will definitely fetch a big price. I went back this time to look at this aspect and start my own business. I tried brewing the recipe I found in my ancestral house at home, and it felt Oklahoma. I learned a lot of knowledge in this area on my own, and also the improved formula is what I brought here this time. This is my first time trying it, and I didn't expect it to be so good. Liu Sen felt that he had a lot of potential as soon as he drank this wine, not to mention he also got the formula and brewing method of this wine. This is a fast-moving product and can be used as cash flow to develop other research and businesses in the future. 2 hours later, everyone had almost eaten. Some people who wanted to go home earlier went home. There were 11 people who chatted all the way to a nearby KTV and booked an extra-large box. As soon as the music started, people drank and sang. The 3 girls Luing also sang a few songs, which were very pleasant to the ear, much better than the wolf howls of some of the gay men. The 3 girls were singing while drinking the remaining bottle of the modified wine given by Liu's senator. They gradually bottomed out and it tasted so good that they drank the wine as a drink. Although it was only 4.2 degrees, it still contained alcohol. Everyone started to shake. He started to ask Liu Sen to sing, but Liu Sen's singing was really average. Moreover, it has just entered autumn, and the clothes are still relatively thin. The physical contact makes Liu Sen feel embarrassed and blushing. The end time soon came. It was already past 12 midnight, and there were bottles everywhere. Everyone helped each other downstairs. Liu Sen took care of each other and watched each colleague take a taxi back. I don't know when we saw each other again. Liu Sen sighed a little. After coming back to his senses, he looked around and found that there were only 3 girls left, Lu Ying, Yin Dan, and Lu Lu, as well as Deng Yaluan and Qin Songha. Deng Yaluan looked at the 3 girls and whispered to Liu Sen, "These 3 are all interesting to you. You see what to do. I'll leave first. I have to go to work tomorrow. I'll leave them to you to take care of them. It's okay to arrive at the company late tomorrow." As he said that, he got into the taxi that had just arrived. When he saw Qin Song standing beside Liu Sen dumbly, he pulled him into the car with him. "Master, drive. Manager, you and I are not on the same page. Why did you drag me along?" Qin Song looked confused. Deng Yaluan is the manager, and his salary specifications are relatively good. The company rents a high-end apartment specifically for him. Sitting in the car, Deng Yaluan said to Qin Song, who was still looking confused, "Young man, with his thick head, he is in the way." Liu Sen looked at the 3 women in front of him. The weather was cold now, and the 3 women's faces were rosy. He didn't know whether it was from drinking or for some other reason. "What do you say? Why don't you go back? Why don't you wait for me to call you a car?" That the 3 women looked at each other after hearing this, but none of them made any move. They all had a good impression of Liu Sen, but the 3 women had a good relationship and did not break this relationship. They all want to keep doing this, let nature take its course, and see who Liu Sen will choose in the end. But before the result, Liu Sen resigned. They didn't know how to deal with it. They drank so much today. On the one hand, the wine tasted good, and on the other hand, they were afraid that there would be no chance in the future, so they drank to strengthen their courage. "Brother Sen, there's no need to call for a taxi. Let's go for a walk together." In the end, Yin Dan, who had always been cool in life, said, and then he saw Lu Ying and Lu Lu nodding, feeling the cold weather. Liu Sen was about to refuse, but when he saw the expectant eyes of the 3 women, his heart softened and he refused. "Okay, let's take a walk," he said and walked forward. "Yeah," Lu Lu jumped happily and followed him first. Yin Dan and Lu Ying looked at Lu Lu's happy look and were also a little happy. "Brother Sen, I just heard that you want to start your own business when you go back." Lu Ying took 2 steps forward and asked Liu Sen side by side. "Yes, after thinking about it for the past 2 days, I realized that there was no way out while working part-time, so I decided to go back and start a business." "What is that about?" Yin Dan asked immediately. "We should be doing a lot. The wine you drank today is one thing, and there are many other things. We should mainly be in the industrial field, opening companies and factories. That wine is so delicious, and Brother Sen is so capable, it will definitely sell well. Brother Sen, if you start a company, can I follow you?" Lu Lu said directly. "If you are willing, of course it is no problem." Liu Sen thought for a while and said, "Great, I will follow Brother Senior. I also want to follow Brother Senior." Me too. Lu Ying and Yin Dan immediately followed suit. "Of course, your abilities are all possible. I understand them very well, and I can use them easily. But are you serious? After all, everything is starting over on my side. I don't know what the future will be like, but at least you are now. Stand firm. After I leave, Deng Yaluan will definitely do well for my sake, and I also told him that one of the 3 of you will be tried out first for the position vacated by my resignation." Liu Sen stopped and looked at them with a serious look on his face. Chapter 19. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I still want to follow Brother Senator. I was recruited by Brother Sen, and it was Brother Sen who taught me how to work. I trust Brother Senior. Lu Ying looked serious. "We do too. Are you willing to leave this city and go to a new place?" Liu Sen asked again. "Well, it's okay. Anyway, our family is not in this city. And the 3 of us think that following Brother Sen is more promising. Okay, go back first and prepare. You can think about it carefully in the next 2 days and confirm it when the time comes." Liu Sen also hopes that they can follow him and use them conveniently. Moreover, the 3 of them are indeed carefully selected by him in the past 2 years, whether it is appearance or workability. Okay, I'll take you back. It's too cold outside, he said and tightened his clothes. Okay. The four of them took a car to the house where the three of them lived. It was not far from Liu Sen's dormitory, in another community, and was also rented by the company. Accompanying the three people downstairs, Liu Sen said, "You go up. Brother Sen, go up and sit." Lu said. "It's so late, I won't go up." Liu Sen thought for a moment and shook his head. "Brother Sen, we didn't eat much tonight, we want to eat the noodles that Brother Sen made." Lu said, holding Liu Sen's arm and shaking it, and winking at Lu Ying and Yin Dan. "Yeah, we are all hungry too." The two girls who received Lu's signal said immediately. Okay. Okay. Lu let go of Liu Sen's arm and jumped. "Let's go." Lu pulled Liu Sen upstairs. When I entered the room, I smelled a fragrance that would not be found in a boy's room. I don't know if it was the smell of laundry detergent or shampoo. Soon, surrounded by the three girls, a pot of noodles and 4 water eggs were cooked. "Okay, we can start eating." Liu Sen put the 4 bowls of noodles on the dining table. "It's hot and delicious," Lu Ying said with satisfaction. "It feels much warmer to eat. It was too cold outside just now. Do you still have the wine you had before? It was so delicious." When Lu mentioned the wine, Lu Ying and Yin Dan's eyes lit up and they were waiting for Liu Sen's answer. "That wine is gone, but we still have some of the wine I brewed at home. I can't drink it these 2 days, it's uncomfortable, and I feel like milk tea is not fragrant anymore." The three women obviously felt a little disappointed when they heard Liu Sen's answer. Seeing their looks, Liu Sen seriously suspected that they wanted to follow him because they wanted to drink his wine. "Okay, I have to go," Liu Sen said as he was about to leave. The three girls immediately grabbed Liu Sen and refused to let him go, insisting that he stay here and play for a while. Their behavior today was completely different from usual, probably because they were drunk. Liu Sen had no choice but to play poker with them again, and finally he didn't leave. The next day, in the office, Deng Yaluan saw the documents in his hand and wanted to file them, and looked at the empty workstations outside, feeling a little amused. Deng Yaluan couldn't help but complain in his heart, "I told you to arrive late the next day, but I didn't ask you all to arrive late at the company. It's outrageous." At about 10 o'clock in the morning, Liu Sen woke up, looked at the surrounding environment, and was a little confused. He recalled everything yesterday in his mind and couldn't help scratching his head. Liu Sen didn't know why he stayed in the three girls' dormitory overnight yesterday, which must have brought a lot of bad influence to them. Fortunately, it was just one night and nothing happened. He slept in a room alone. "I drank a lot yesterday. I just got the golden finger and was a little excited. Drinking will cause trouble, and mixing drinks is even worse. I drank beer in the KTV and then drank foreign wine." In the end, Liu Sen did not use the golden finger, which would be bad if he was exposed. He put on his clothes and went out. No one was in the living room, and the door of the room next to him was closed tightly. He could clearly hear the breathing of the three people inside, which meant that they were still sleeping. It seems that the three of them were really too tired and drank a lot of wine yesterday. Last night, it was more than 3 o'clock in the morning before they went to bed. Knocked on Yin Dan's door, and a thump came from inside instantly. "Oh, it hurts." Yin Dan's voice came. "It's over, it's 10 o'clock. The voices of the three women came out in an instant. "Don't worry, Deng Yaluan and I said that we will arrive later. You guys take your time to pack up, I'll go out to buy some food and come back later." Liu Sen left the room without waiting for the answer from inside. When the room heard Liu Sen's voice, it instantly became quiet. After hearing Liu Sen closing the door, the three women's exclamations came again. "It's over, it's over. What happened yesterday? Why did we sleep together? And why is Brother Sen here?" Lu Ying blushed. "Does this count as staying overnight? I'm going to die." Lu continued. Yin Dan also blushed, and her usual cold look was gone. Yesterday, the three of them did let themselves go after drinking. The three looked at each other and couldn't help sighing again. The three women exchanged glances for a while, and their eyes gradually showed a firm expression. They are all smart girls. After 2 years of getting along, they already have some good feelings for Liu Sen, and they drank Liu Sen's stuff yesterday. They deeply understand that Liu Sen has potential, and with the wine last night, it is obvious that there is a future for him. Liu Sen bought breakfast outside, thought about a lot of problems, and knocked at the door when he arrived. The door was quickly opened. "Come, get some food. I bought preserved egg and lean meat porridge, soy milk and steamed dumplings." Then he put all the breakfast on the table. "Thank you, brother senior." The 3 women are all naturally beautiful and confident in their looks. They just washed up and sat on the table to eat breakfast. "We drank a lot of wine yesterday. Your decision may have been made in a rush. Have you changed it now?" Liu Sen asked again seriously. "We have decided to follow Brother Senator. Brother Sen will definitely not treat us unfairly, right?" The 3 women stopped and said. "Of course, when have I ever treated you unfairly?" Liu Sen laughed in an instant. "This is his team, since he has decided to start a business with him, he still has to deal with some things." Liu Sen called Deng Yaluan. "Aaron, I have something to tell you. Lu Ying and the other 3 are all going to work with me. I have to tell you that there is something to be prepared for. Those who need to be recruited should be recruited as soon as possible. I will go back and settle them down, and they may leave. You are always looking for trouble for me. You said yesterday that you could come to work later, but you are so good. Now you have kidnapped all of them. Tell me honestly what you did last night." Deng Yaluan complained as soon as he received the call. "Nothing happened. What can happen to a pure person like me?" Liu Sen immediately denied 3 times in a row. "Don't believe me. Okay, I know about the 3 of them. Is it convenient for them to come to work today? If not, don't come. I will just clean up your mess. That's because you are capable. Then I will let them rest today and go tomorrow." Liu Sen considered that they went to bed so late yesterday, and it would be a good opportunity to catch up on sleep if they didn't go today, so he agreed to Deng Yaluan's suggestion. He hung up the phone and said to the 3 women, "Take your time to eat. I have something else to do, so I'll leave first. I just told Aaron that he doesn't need to go to work today, so you guys should have a good rest." Chapter 10 The First Pot of Gold, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Liu Sen returned to the dormitory, moved the packed things directly to his car, and drove directly to the destination. In his mind, Liu Sen's car is rarely driven in Longcheng. He basically drives when he goes home, and only goes back once every half a month or a month. The car is usually parked, and he usually travels by electric donkey, which is convenient. Soon he arrived at the destination, which is the jade gambling market in Longcheng. Gambling on jade is Liu Sen's goal today. He wants to use this to accumulate initial entrepreneurial funds. The funds obtained in this way are safer than selling gold. After all, no one knows what is in the stone, and what can be opened is all luck. After parking the car, entering the market, watching people coming and going, according to his understanding, there should not be so many people on weekdays. There are many people in the market today, and it is because a batch of new materials have just been transported from Ruili to this market. This is the information Liu Sen saw on the internet the night before yesterday, walking to a pile of raw materials. Looking at these piles of raw materials, all marked with prices, some are sold individually. This type of jade rough material is of relatively good performance. The price is relatively expensive, ranging from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. There are no more expensive ones. After all, the gambling stone market in Longcheng is not large, and it cannot be compared with Tingchong Ruili and other places. The remaining rough materials are not of good performance, so the selling price is between 80 to 300 yuan per kilogram. Liu Sen does not know much about this knowledge, but simply checked some information. His purpose is not to gamble on all rough materials. Liu Sen followed the flow of people and bought 2 pieces of poor performance all gamble rough materials, spending 350 yuan. After paying the money, the 2 rough materials in his hand changed. Before paying, the original gold finger did not respond at all. After paying, as he expected, the flashing dots appeared. Information checked, ordinary jade rough material. Net weight, 2 kg, jade content, 0g. Ordinary jade rough material. Net weight, 1.2 kg, jade content, 0g. Sure enough, this kind of inferior rough material basically does not produce jade, otherwise, why is it so cheap? It is because these are not favored by professional gambling stone personnel. With these two rough materials, he gave them to the stone-cutting master and asked him to cut them. The master clamped the rough materials and prepared to cut the stones, with several people standing next to him watching. After a few cuts, everyone in the crowd sighed and shook their heads. It collapsed. Liu Sen didn't care, but he still showed a regretful look like everyone else. The shop owner looked at Liu Sen and said, "Young man, it is difficult to cut jade from rough materials with poor performance. If you really want to play, it's better to buy these with good performance." "No, I'll just join in the fun and try my luck." Liu Sen quickly refused. He didn't have the courage to spend so much money on those high-end rough materials. After all, he didn't know what was inside before buying them. At this moment, the crowd suddenly heard a heated discussion. Liu Sen turned around and saw a middle-aged man in a suit. He came over with a piece of raw material. "Boss, I like this one, but 270,000 is a bit expensive. I'll take it if you reduce the price." The boss looked at the middle-aged man and said, "Boss, I really need this for my small business, and you see the performance of this raw material, it's so good, the price is really not expensive. Tell me the truth, can you reduce it?" The middle-aged man in a suit ignored the boss's words and said directly, "Okay, just treat it as making friends, 250,000, if you accept this price, you can take it, if you don't accept it, you can choose another one." "Okay, boss, you are straightforward, I want it." The middle-aged man in a suit paid the money and lifted the raw material onto the stone-cutting machine. The stone-cutting master drew the lines according to the requirements of the middle-aged man in a suit and started to cut the stone. Everyone gathered around, and soon after a cut, a large piece of green mist appeared. "It's increased. This cut is good. It can probably be sold for 300,000 yuan. A middle-aged fat man with a big belly and a handbag in his hand immediately shouted, "Boss, are you going to sell it? I want 300,000 yuan. No, my stone will definitely increase in value." The middle-aged man in a suit directly rejected the offer. The middle-aged fat man saw that the middle-aged man in a suit refused so straightforwardly, so he stood aside and stopped offering. The stone continued to be cut, and the green mist was wiped off, revealing that most of the stone underneath was white, and only a small part of it appeared like jadeite with a watery texture, and the color was also very light. "It's a pity that it's wiped out now. Hey, it's probably good to sell it for 50,000 yuan now." 60,000 yuan, I want it, how about it, I'll buy it and gamble. The fat man who made the offer before spoke again. Liu Sen saw that the middle-aged man in a suit was a little hesitant this time, and he didn't know whether to continue. There were all kinds of discussions from the people around, and the middle-aged man in a suit looked a little ugly. He was very optimistic about this rough material, but he didn't expect it to be so bad after it was untied. Although he was not short of money, it was an uncomfortable experience for anyone. "Boss, do you want to continue untying it?" The stone untying master asked the middle-aged man in a suit with regret. If the price of the untied material increased, the owner of the rough material would usually give a red envelope, but now the red envelope was gone. "Cut it for me again, and cut a 2 centimeter slit on the other end of the back." The middle-aged man in a suit was determined to try again. The stone untying master adjusted the position of the rough material as required and cut a slit on the back again, but there was still no jade. "It's completely broken." People started talking around again, and the middle-aged man in a suit looked even more ugly. He had no intention of taking off his clothes anymore. "Everyone, who wants this material? I won't continue to solve it." The words came out, and there was a lot of discussion around them, but no one had any intention of taking over. It had collapsed like this, and taking over would be a loss. Seeing that no one responded, the middle-aged man in a suit looked at the fat middle-aged man who had made bids twice before. "I'm sorry, I would have asked for it before cutting that knife." After all, the stone at that time could still be used for gambling, but now the material's performance is so poor that there is no gambling value anymore. It will probably still be the same after cutting. I'll sell you 5,000, but it's very low, so I can still gamble. The middle-aged man in a suit gritted his teeth. The fat man still shook his head after hearing this. He might as well buy a new woolen material, which would have a better chance than this. 5,000, I want it. When they saw someone bidding to take over, the people around them all looked towards the bidder and saw that it was a young man, rather handsome, and couldn't help but shake their heads. It turned out that it was Liu Sen who had spoken. He had been watching, and he was ready to take over when the time was right. The purpose of his coming here is these opened woolen materials, so gambling on all the woolen materials is not his goal. Because I don't know whether there is jade in the raw material before I buy it. Otherwise, if I buy it without jade, I can't even change the gold finger. If I change it from 0 to 0, it will still be 0 times 10 times, so he wanted to buy these semi-gambling materials that he knew clearly contain jade. The current one that can be seen is worth at least 1,000 yuan. After the golden finger is modified, it can be sold for at least more than 10,000 yuan. This value has already been seen. If there are more jade inside than what is seen now, you will earn more, and he also wants to test whether the color of this planting water can be changed. Young man, I'm selling you. The middle-aged man in a suit said with a complicated expression, not at all excited about selling.